Good afternoon and welcome back to the Town Government Operations Committee meeting of Wednesday, February 18, 2026. Our next item up for consideration is H516, which is the Town of Essex charter change. And I understand we have 3 people in the waiting room, so we'll let them in. They're in. Just can't see them. There we go.
Now, I'm hoping Essex is easier than Burlington.
So we're live, so I'm sure they share that sentiment. Oh, good. We've got 3. Wow. So I see screens are so maybe I should get larger glasses. Anyway, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 witnesses, and I see 3 of them up there. One of them is the sponsor, who I don't see in the room. So oh, she is. Oh, there you are. Yes.
Good afternoon. Sorry, I just had to step out of committee to do
So we did already walk through this, and Tucker Anderson has already unfortunately had to leave. I think he went up to the Gov Ops committee in the House. I think that's where he said. But anyway, I know that Senator Vyhovsky had some questions about some of the provisions in 516. So I'm going to let her sort of drive the bus here as we go through this again. And hopefully we can come to a resolution and move this along for the fine folks in the town of Essex.
Yeah, I mean, my first question is really just getting a sense of what the intent of the I generally try to get an understanding of what it is you're trying to do and why. What problem are you trying to solve? And but maybe it makes the most sense for the sponsor to go and then the town can walk us through the process and the charter commission member.
And when you testify, if you just identify yourself for the record.
Yes, hi, good afternoon, Leonora Dodge, representative for Chittenden 23, which is a lot of Essex Town. This came about after we had some ballot items to update some wording in our charter, and also to switch sort of how to choose, for instance, like the cemetery commissioner, and mostly I'm doing the bidding of our wonderful town charter committee and following the recommendations of our managers and select board. So this feels like it sort of came off without a hitch in the House, on the House side, on GovOps from the House side, and was recognized as something that could the changes were consistent with with sort of public benefit, public good and public safety and good governance. So I apologize that I don't have more to really say about major problems being solved, but those are probably better answered by the folks from the town directly, who have done all of the great legwork.
Can you I don't know if we ever got the vote totals. Can you let us know what the vote in the town was and what the floor vote was as well in the House?
I don't have that in front of me, so I'll defer to Greg if Greg has it. And I do know that we did submit that on the House side, but Greg, if you're nodding, so I'm going to let you go ahead if that's okay. I'm going to defer to Greg. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Greg Duggan, town manager for Essex. I don't actually have the vote coming out of the House or of House GovOps. I do have the results of the vote for the town of Essex back in 2024 at town meeting. Happy to run through those. It would be helpful if I just gave some additional background first.
Was it 2025 maybe?
20 excuse me, 2025, you're correct. Yes,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Since what I've dealt with that last year, or maybe.
Yeah, if you could give us the vote totals, for the town, and then we'll get the other ones. If it was a voice vote, obviously there's no way to know unless it was unanimous, but.
Sure. So Article 4, this was, shall the town of Essex amend its charter to provide a clearer description of the role of the town moderator? Yes, 909, no, 74, 24 blanks. Shall the town of Essex amend its charter to change the timing of approval of select board minutes? Yes, 758, no, 183, blank, 66. Shall the town of Essex amend its charter to change the appointments made by the select board and the town manager? Yes, 720. No, 208. Blank, 79. Shall the town of Essex amend its charter to require a mailed notice to residents regarding the availability of the town auditor's report and annual report? Yes, 675. No, 286. Blank, 46. Shall the town of Essex amend its charter to amend subchapter 10, Department of Real Estate Appraisal? Yes, 696. No, 224. Blank, 87. Shall the town of Essex amend its charter to remove the description of transacting business for annual town meeting that is now voted on by Australian ballot? Yes, 659. No, 274. Blank, 74. And lastly, shall the town of Essex amend its charter for de minimis changes that include wording, formatting, and spelling? Yes, 793, no, 150, blank, 64.
What? How could they just?
Ryan, do you know what the turnout was, the percentage of eligible voters that voted in March of 2025?
I don't have that exact number in front of me, to make a reasonable guess. You know, it looks like there was probably about 1,100 people voted. Essex has roughly 4,000 registered voters, so probably in the 20 to 25% range. I'd say it was a pretty standard turnout for town meeting.
Unfortunately, we've seen town meetings with like 5% turnout, so I'd
Oh.
actually say you're doing all right. Comparatively.
I take that back. Don't hold me to that 4,000 number. I'd have to double check on that.
Okay.
Did you have specific questions about any of the provisions that we
Um,
walked through it?
I mean, I know a good portion of it is really kind of cleanup language. And so I don't really have any questions about any of the housekeeping language, with the exception of all of the instances where you've indicated that if you don't have charter items, then that state law applies, which is assumed. And generally, we have tried to encourage towns not to do that in their charter. But the substantive pieces, I would love to get the background and intent. And then maybe I have additional questions.
Okay.
Sure. So just some brief history. Around the time that Essex and Essex Junction were separating, the select board had been hearing from residents about some potential charter changes that they would like to see. So at the time, this is probably back 2022 timeframe, maybe 2023. I'm a little off on my details. The select board convened, created a charter review committee. They were tasked with reviewing the charter and making some adjustments. The select board had heard a few different things around that time about recall of select board members, a few other things. The charter review committee did a really comprehensive deep dive into the charter when it was going up to vote at town meeting. I think it would have been 2023. The select board felt like they had time to review 5 of the proposals from the charter review committee. So those went before voters, I believe it was 2023. 4 out of the 5 of those were ultimately, all 5 were passed by the voters. 4 of the 5 were passed by the legislature. The one that was not passed was about housing. I'm drawing a blank. Just cause eviction. Thank you. The select board sort of promised residents in the charter review committee that they would revisit the rest of the charter review committee's recommendations at a later date. That's what this is. That's what went before voters last year. So it was everything from general cleanup to trying to address some issues that had been identified by staff, by the Charter Review Committee that had come up here and there throughout the past number of years. So to get into some more specifics about that, so the town of Essex amend its charter to provide a clearer description of the role of town moderator. This happened, would have been either 2022 or 2023. The town took a floor vote at town meeting to conduct all future business by Australian ballot. That was approved on the floor of town meeting. Because of that, the moderator didn't really have that formal role of running town meeting. So some adjustments were made to the charter just to specify the difference between an elected select board member, kind of having higher criteria about attendance, running meetings, stuff like that, as opposed to the moderator, which is now really just kind of a figurehead position. We still elect a moderator, we still use that person to oversee and run the informational town meeting, but the charter changes were sort of to get acknowledge that the role of the moderator has changed. Please feel free to jump in with questions at any point. I'm just going to try to go through point by point. So the town of Essex amend its charter to change the timing of approval of select board minutes. The charter currently says that the select board shall approve minutes at the next meeting. That just has not always proven possible. We still are complying with open meeting law. Draft minutes are posted within 5 days. It's not about that. This is the town of Essex purge charter approves minutes, but there's times where we'll have like a workshop on a Saturday followed by a meeting the immediate next Monday. There's no time to get minutes together, never mind get them in the packet. So we were finding ourselves in violation of our own charter by not being able to approve minutes at the next meeting. So the recommended change is to do so at the next, as soon as reasonably possible, to have the minutes approved. So that's trying to address a small problem. Amend the appointments made by the select board and the town manager. I believe this was largely the charter review committee. We do have a member here, Mr. Post, who can probably speak to that, but it's basically just trying to identify, actually staff had pulled it up as well. There's language in the charter that says the select board, the town manager shall appoint with select board approval the following, and it lists a number of positions. So some of the charter review committee added fire chief to that list. I think to have some additional oversight and public input into the appointment of that position. I removed stuff like fence viewers, listers, positions that we just don't have anymore. I think Representative Dodge mentioned cemetery commissioners that currently is appointed by the manager. Proposal is to have that appointed by the select board, cemetery commissioners, just like any other volunteer boards and committees. So less of a problem, more just a clarification. The next one, shall the town of Essex amend its charter to require a mailed notice to residents regarding the availability of the town auditor's report and annual report. The way the language is currently written in the charter is we've interpreted that, legal guidance has interpreted that to mean that we need to mail the annual report to every household in Essex. It costs about 10.
Right.
We have one question from Senator Fox.
Oh, sure.
I believe you were just on section 208 on page 6 about the appointments that are made by the select board.
Okay, I can pull that up. I wasn't not looking at the actual.
Was there
document. I
another
can-
section? Was there another
I
section?
think he's going through the different articles as they were on the ballot,
Oh,
which
I
has now,
was.
yes.
Correct.
so
I'm sorry.
sorry. That's
Would
hard
you-
for us because we have a bill and it's we're going through it by what's in the bill.
But yes, it is section 8.
It is section 208. And the question I have for you, it doesn't list any of the things you just mentioned except the cemetery commission. So it doesn't require it,
So that's.
it doesn't list where.
So on page 8, beginning on line 9.
Okay, so we're further along. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It just makes sense that if you're gonna have appointments, you have them all in one place, I guess.
But if that's not how it's organized in the chart, that's not how it's on bill.
Sorry, we're just trying to follow you and it was hard because it wasn't the bill, it was the ballot, sorry.
Understood. Apologies. I was running through the ballot that went before voters, but I will
we don't
shift
have
gears
that.
and I will look through the language of H516.
Yeah, if you don't
Um,
mind, that would be just helpful so that we could follow you. We can't follow you because we don't have the ballot.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so let me get caught up. I'm gonna scroll to the top and start over as much as I need to.
Yeah, you basically just did section 208 on page 6.
Right. Powers of the town, section 204. That's general cleanup.
I think you're fine until we get to the 209, the jurisdiction over other officers or employer. That's sort of where we were, I think.
So that's
Sure,
page 6 at the bottom there.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So that's the part that Senator Clarkson is on is page 6, beginning on line 13.
It
Right,
just
okay.
follows the appointment.
And this is sort of general cleanup. It sort of looks like all that it does is add that line about that Vermont state law applies.
Exactly.
Right, 209 is general cleanup, 2010 is cleanup. Section 402, that's what I was referencing as far as the appointments by the manager. So you'll see that cemetery commissioners has been struck from line 13 in section 402. And that had been moved up to the previous section about appointments by the select board. And it was also including the removal of grand juror, fire wardens, fence viewers, inspector of lumber and shingles. And the addition of, if the select board hasn't filled that position, the manager can fill that position within, after 45 days. Section
Does that
501,
still have to be approved by the select board, or is that a unilateral decision?
the way we've interpreted it is that it would be the manager's decision. It gives the select board an opportunity to act. If they don't for whatever reason, then it becomes the manager's appointment. And speaking for myself, but not for any future managers, I would use some judgment and discretion. And, would it have been 45 days had we had a meeting 40 days? Yeah, I would bring it back to the select board. But I think it is open for interpretation.
I think Bruce has a question, and if you could identify yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name's Bruce Post. I was on the Charter Review Commission the first time in 2022 and chair when we prepared this document. Greg's summary so far has been pretty good. I think on this section 402, officials appointed by manager, that was some language that I think we may have cleaned up earlier. There was some confusing language in there, and we tried to make it a little straightforward and also give the select board a role in approval. That some of our members felt very strongly about that. So that's just for that section. And yeah, the confusion was the select board will appoint a development review board, cemetery commission, and the town manager, and then several sections later, we have this division of what the town manager could do. So I think Greg has cleared that up for now. I can answer other things later. Thank you.
Section 501, general cleanup. Section 602, this was a bit of a change. Starting to say that the current charter, basically the way we interpret it, we have to mail the annual report to all households in Essex. That costs about $10,000, $11,000. We've talked in the past about would it be possible to just send a postcard mailer, letting people know that it's the annual report is available, the audit is available. This doesn't say we're going to do that, but it gives that flexibility. We would still have the annual report, still make it available, still print it. But rather than printing out however many thousands of copies and mailing it, part of the issue is that anecdotally, we would find plenty of reports just in the recycling bin at the post office. So it seemed like a waste. This is an effort to be a bit more cost effective and cut down on our waste while still making the report available to anybody who wants it.
Senator Bielanski.
I really appreciate that, and I imagine that a lot of those reports that you send to households promptly, unfortunately, go into the recycling bin. But in an instance where a household wanted a copy, was unable to get to the offices, I imagine you would and could still mail it to them.
Yep.
They would have the opportunity to make that request, say, you know what, can you send me a copy?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And so,
Um,
everybody, we've gotten picked on at the pharmacy or the grocery store.
Well, it was in the Essex Charter, they do, and they do, I get that annual report, I do not throw it directly in my recycling bin, I do in fact look at it and read it.
we just won, VLCT awarded us one of the best annual reports, so glad to know that's being read occasionally. Time of holding, this was, I'd mentioned how by floor vote a few years ago, there was a town meeting vote to conduct all business by Australian ballot, so this is just catching up with that change. 702 is cleanup. 802 is cleanup. Section 901 is cleanup. Subchapter 10, that's changing the Department of Real Estate Appraisal to Department of Assessment. This is largely based on feedback from our town assessor, really just trying to capture the name of the department that it is. So I would classify it as cleanup. Same with section 103, or excuse me, 1003 and 1005. And sections 1101 and the rest are just general cleanup.
Senator Mihoski.
So the one section I think we missed in that confusion is the section and the content around incapacity and removal from office.
What page is that?
I'm trying to find it. I don't know exactly where it is, but I don't think we covered that.
Didn't see it.
Hold on. It is there. Hold on, I'll just.
I believe that's
think
in
it's page
section-
3.
Page 3.
Yes.
Yep. Line 14 on page 3.
That is where I first see it. Yeah, exactly. Line 14 on, I mean, the whole section starts on line 5 and removes some language and does some cleanup stuff, but I'm just wondering if you can, if someone, you or Bruce can walk us through that.
I don't have those pages. I can go from page 2 to page 5.
Okay,
No wonder
No, yeah.
it's on page 4.
I don't
What you doing? Okay. I can
have your shirt off his back.
Any, Greg, are you the right person to walk us through those changes?
Yeah,
and what-
sorry, I was
why?
waiting to see if there were more questions coming in. Yeah, so that's really, if you look at line 5 and 6, it talks about in the event of death, resignation, change of residence, or incapacity. We wanted to define what incapacity meant. So that line is added there. Incapacity shall include failure to attend at least 50% of the meetings in any given calendar year. So it's really just trying to provide some clarity about what incapacity means.
Thank you.
Any other questions for either Greg or Bruce?
Yeah, I had one.
Okay. Senator Moore.
It was the 50, I had 50% somewhere.
50% of the meetings?
Is that
Yeah.
capacity?
I thought that's just
Sort
the
of thought-
capacity thing.
Yeah,
That was the same question.
yeah. So on line 14, it defines incapacity
Which
shall
page?
include the
30?
failure, page 3. Incapacity shall include the failure by any member of the select board to attend at least 50% of the meetings of the select board in any calendar year.
I was just curious how they came up with the 50. I would hope that they would, does that not include if they, I think legally Secretary of State in the statute says that you can participate by Zoom, right? A meeting.
Yeah,
And just,
Kind of.
that means you're present. If you're
Does-
on Zoom, you're
Yes.
present.
We would consider Zoom to be present.
okay,
So 50%.
so 50% seems low to me. I don't know why.
It does seem low.
I'm just curious how they came up with 50%.
Can I tag on to that question? Did you base that on other towns' charters? Or other, the recommendation from VLCT? What did you base that 50%?
Yeah, actually, I apologize. I misspoke a little bit earlier and I do see that Bruce has his hand up. That was more of just a cleanup. It does talk about, you see in lines 9, 10, 11, strike through. So the 50% capacity, or excuse me, 50% for a select board attendance had been in the Essex Town Charter. The select board had talked about if that is too low at a certain point, and what, you know, what expectation to have for a volunteer boards and committees, but in this sense, it is just a rearranging, just a cleanup of the charter. But I might ask you to, I would ask you to ask the chair of the charter review committee as well. He might have more insight than I do.
Bruce.
Well, yeah, I tried to check up on a lot of this stuff in legislative history. And I lost our interconnection a few days ago because of a billing snafu with Comcast. I won't go through it. It's a dastardly thing. So I'm hitching onto the account of our neighbors across the street with their permission. With their permission. I know we went back and forth on this, and I can't quite frankly remember. I also think our town attorney weighed in as well. And we were just also, I don't know if there's a statement of it in law, but we were comfortable with this. Having been on a select board, I don't think 50% is a low number. If you're missing half the meetings, you're missing a heck of a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
so I have no problem with that. I mean, you know, and also it could be other reasons, you know, I don't know what your reasons are for missing a meeting. It could be health and things like that. But if you're not a participating member of the board, I think the board suffers, and so do the people of the town. And I would also just like to go back and say that this is more of a cleanup. You can't believe how long it took to clean up. We were going back and forth with side-by-side drafts and comments, and our clerk was really great with spreadsheets and things, and it was very difficult to read at time. But we did have a big charter amendment exercise starting in 2022. The committee was appointed. We went through tons of stuff, and we came up with some meaty changes. Adding a development review board, for instance. We were the only town in Chittenden County that didn't have a development review board. We did that. We did some other things. And then we left a lot on the cutting room floor. We had a very organized charter review committee and very enthusiastic. We met 2 hours every week or so for about 10 weeks. It was arduous. And we put a lot into it. So the select board left some things on the cutting room floor. And this is what we try to do in this case, is just follow up. And I think Greg has given a very good summary of what we did. And that was our process. And here we are.
The questions, committee? Do you have zoning in Essex? I know it's off the wall question.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Well, is the zoning matter anymore at the local level?
Yes.
Oh,
And big time.
That's-
Yeah, if you want to be exempt from Act 250 as we go forward, yes, it does, just like water and sewer.
You know, so yes, we have zoning, and we've had it for quite a while. I can't, there are a lot of towns in Vermont, largely smaller, that don't have it. And
We don't have it in Rutland Town.
We're
That is a
we're
problem.
fully zoned, you know, we're fully zoned.
Okay, well, we appreciate your.
Why would you ask that? Why would you ask that question?
Well, I'm in another committee in the morning, that has to, and I don't know whether it was Essex. I think it was.
It is the
The
dock.
Supreme Court decision,
The dock, he's talking about the cannabis in the dock.
yeah,
Cannabis ducks, but that's Essex Junction, not Essex Town.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes, that we are no longer Siamese twins. We're separated, and not for it was a decision the village made, and the town was frozen out of. Those of us who live outside the village never had a chance, but that's neither here nor there. We're both gone our separate ways successfully with enthusiasm and things like that. So
And great affection for each other, I'm sure.
I want
Yeah.
to know where the alimony is.
I
what?
don't
The
know how
alimony?
to dive into this.
I'm sorry I
I'm
asked the
having
question.
flashbacks.
Yeah, please, I have tried to explain this.
Laura's having
we have
a
a-
heart attack. I can
We have a daughter that lives in Germany. We've had Germans come over here and stay with us. And I tried to explain to them the difference between the town, village, and the debate, and they just go blank, So I don't think we'll get into that here.
Well, we didn't just get into it, but maybe we now get out.
Yes, Representative.
Yes, hi. I wanted to just, I think that the 50% attendance rate, if I recall correctly, there was sort of a thought around like, wasn't there like a lot of back and forth about whether it would require like calling a new election? And they were weighing a lot of pros and cons of setting just the right threshold for what would be sort of truly incapacity versus taking away the voters, just right, like you wanted to honor what the voters had that an elected official had been put into this role. And so I think that there was an attempt to weigh that voice versus the task of having to call a new election versus are the townspeople being served? To what degree are they being represented or not represented? And so weighing all of those pros and cons, they kind of landed at, if the person is there for the majority of the time, then they can't be impeached.
Okay. Any other questions, committee?
No, this seems reasonably straightforward.
Senator Bielski, you're fine?
I think I am. Greg, would it be possible for you to send the vote numbers on the different ballot items to the committee
Sure.
by email? I tried to track them down while you were talking, and about halfway through, I realized I couldn't keep up.
Who reported the bill from the House?
I think
No, Leonora's not on the committee.
Who
Oh.
who reported your bill?
Leonora, who reported the bill from Governor?
So it's a little confusing because there had to be an amendment, but I think it was Rep Sandy, is it Tebow?
was Rep Pinsino.
Piece
Oh.
of, yeah.
Yes,
Was she the new Rutland rep?
Yeah.
who's like a town clerk
She's
extraordinaire, right?
South Clerk of Dorset.
Rutland town.
No, Dorset,
Oh, Doris. And her son, just a
She's on
page.
Raleigh,
I believe.
but she was the bill reporter.
Okay, so we can get a lot of the details from her. She probably has the
Greg said.
town vote and committee vote and floor vote. Okay, if
Yes.
there are any more questions, we'll let you guys go back to work or wherever you go.
If I send those,
Bruce, we're happy to see the State House looking so sunny and spring-like.
Yeah, it must be cold outside.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly nicer to appear this way with the Capitol at my back rather than driving to Montpelier when you're in session and trying to find a parking spot. So, when I discovered we could have this solution by hooking up to my neighbors, I was all for it. I would also like to say Cape Tau to Lynn, your committee assistant. We both discovered we're both of Lithuanian heritage and both raised in the same part of Connecticut, whose parents lived in Lithuanian ghettos. I'm a little older, but I'll have to meet you in person, Lynn, and we can trade stories. Thank
That
you.
would be worth the parking spot. Thanks.
Greg, did you pop off mute to add something?
yes, if I send the results to Lynn, will that work? Will that suffice?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. And Bruce, your background just serves to remind you that we have your back.
Oh, yes.
Well, I'll try. Is this meeting recorded? I'd like to keep that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it's live streaming right now.
We just live our life. We don't care anymore whether it's public or not.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much for your time and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you for the consideration.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thanks. Thank you, Greg and Bruce, for all your work.
Thank you, Leonore. Appreciate the support.
Bye-bye.
So committee tomorrow, we have the joint assembly in the morning.
Oh, and in addition to the joint assembly,
Yeah,
there is, Greg Knight is,
Oh, yeah.
addressing the legislature, which I did not know about until David Weeks told me about it, but evidently at 9 o'clock. He is also doing a farewell address and we're live, so I'm not gonna drop the surprise.
I had a question. I wonder, and I'm certainly while we're still on the Essex Charter, I'm certainly happy to be wrong, but I feel like it's fairly straightforward. Maybe the committee might be comfortable voting it out tomorrow.
sure.
Yeah, right.
I will put that down on my list, make sure that we do that. So that's 516.
That's a bigger committee than 5, 6. The House committee.
You can add that to the agenda. If you want to.
Okay.
H516 vote out.
I don't have any changes that I.
Okay.
No, I think this is straightforward.
Yeah, and we'll figure out Burlington, I guess, next week. When you and Tucker get
We'll get new
together.
language, yeah.
Tanya's also expressed great interest in moving 291
Oh, I thought that's what we were taking up now.
Tomorrow.
this Thursday, but
Oh, it was.
It's
sorry,
okay.
I'm just going back what's in front of me.
we only have these two. I guess I did not hear from the administration. I sort of gave them a heads up that we were gonna pick it up.
Mhm.
I don't know whether it's of concern to any of the executive officers or not, since I haven't heard of it.
Well, they may have a requirement to do it already.
I think in some ways they do. This might be a little more granular.
Yeah.
Although Senator Vyhovsky's also agreed that if we didn't want to make it as deep a dive,
No,
we could change it to some degree.
anything would be an improvement over the nothing that we have.
Correct.
And then 255 tomorrow, unless I hear from, other folks. That's our pilot bill for the law enforcement. I'm planning on voting that out tomorrow as well. We do have Tim Devlin, Kim McManus, and Jeremy Evans coming in to talk to us. So if that goes too long, we'll have to wait till Friday, but I'd like to get it out tomorrow if we could.
We have 2 more people as well.
Oh,
Commissioner Jen Morrison.
oh,
All right, we wanted to hear from the state police.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was.
can you add those
a
and
request I had.
Jennifer?
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
they're on there.
Yes, I can print a one for you.
Okay.
I spoke.
I don't want to hear the state
Okay.
police.
That's not on there.
And who was the other one?
So Matthew Rare.
Oh,
Now he's the head of our.
The colonel?
Yeah, he's the colonel.
Okay,
The lady is frozen.
He is retiring, but he has been had this job for 11 years. The longest we've had leadership in that department. Wow.
well, I didn't expect to be up this early, but days,
I think everybody thought I had real concerns with the Essex Charter.
I did, I thought.
I didn't. I just wanted to hear from the town. They
Okay.
did too. When I reached out to them, they were like, what's wrong with this? I was like, nothing. I just want to know how you got here.
Okay.
So we're going off. So.
Yeah, anything else for the committee today? Okay, with that in mind, we'll adjourn for the day. See all of you tomorrow.